winter in flight, and I'm seeing you. Now I just need to see if I'm hearing you.
All right. Are we on?
We are. You're on. You're going.
Can you hear?
Let me just turn the Bluetooth off so I can see if I can hear it play. Oh, and now I'm going to hang up because
Okay.
I'm going to hear you because I'm hearing you through the phone.
Okay.
But if I hang up on you, then I'll know.
Okay. Hi, anyone that's watching. Sorry this is really late. I had a class before live and it ran later, and then a little technical difficulty. So hopefully you can hear me. Okay. Sorry, ladies. I was supposed to be on at 12:30. The other class ran late, and then I had a little technical difficulty trying to get back in to this class. So, all right. So here we go. Oh, technology can be so much fun. But once you figure it out, it works wonderful. All right. So we are going to make the Winter in Flight sampler. And I love this sampler. I love the birds and the winter scene and everything. So I thought this was a cool one to do. So we're going to get started. All right. So we will have a 12 by 12 sheet of crumb cake cut down to 9 by 9. So this is a 9 by 9 sampler. And so this is my 9 by 9 piece of crumb cake. And then we need the mats. And they are, let me get these all in front of me here. So, the squares are 2.5 by 2.5, and the rectangles are 2.25. Oops, this way. 2.5 by 5.25. So it's 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5 by 5.25. So those are our mats for the DSP, or for the sampler. And then using the Winterly Treetops DSP is what I used. We cut out some 2.25 by 2.25 different squares for the different. And this is, let me just pull this out here. And this is the sampler that I made. Let me see if I can get the whole picture in there. And so then we're going to go ahead and set up our squares with our DSP. We had this one up here. One down here. I have a center one. And this one on the bottom, this one on the top. Okay, so that is our DSP and our mats. So the DSP, so the mat, like I said, was 2.5 by 2.5. The DSP that goes over is 2.25 by 2.25 on the squares. And then on the rectangles, it was 2.5 by 5.25, and the rectangle to go over it is 2.25 by 5. All right, and then we're going to take, so I have some sprigs here that I cut out from Christmas greenery, and let's see here. Sorry, I was all mixed up from the first one running late, so I didn't grab everything. I was throwing things all over, trying to get everything I needed. All right, so it was actually Golden Greenery Dyes is where these two little sprigs came from. So those were those. And then I also used the Winterly Treetop Dyes, and that was to cut out from the DSP. There is a die to cut out these birds from the DSP. and this little bird from the DSP. So those are in the dies in here. Then I did use some other sets to cut out some more Christmas greenery dies I used, and branching out dies I used. So those were all the sets I used for that. And then I used, there's very little stamping on this. I used the same in the winter owls. This was from last year or the year before, I can't remember. But I wanted to make this a winter. I didn't want it to be Christmassy or anything. I just wanted something that you could put up all winter. So I used this sentiment on the one of the middle squares, and I just blocked off of this season. So I just put, may you have time to enjoy the quiet moments. I didn't want of this season. I didn't want it to fall into like sounding Christmassy. So that's what I used for the center square. And then I used a stamp from the Delicate Pines on that square with the sentiment, this little sprig here. So those are what I used. And then branching out dies. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting this together, and I'll tell you where things come from as we go along. All right, so yeah, a lot of little pieces on here. So this top square on the left, I used this sprig of greenery, and I cut it. So because it was way too big. It was way too big to put on there. So I cut it down. On the left side of the sprig, I just cut here, and then, let's see here, I gotta remember what way I did this. So I cut around this piece up here, and just kind of rounded it off so it was a nice rounded leaf. And then I cut off this little stem off of this one, and there we go. And that's all I did. So I just cut that little piece off just to make it smaller to fit in that square. So then we'll go ahead and glue this down. Ooh, not too much glue. All right, so then I glued this in the center. Just kind of tipped it to the side. Like that. Okay, and then I took, let's go ahead and just, so we don't have so much confusion, we'll just do each square and then we'll place them on. So then once I had that, I'm gonna glue this down onto my mat. All right. Glue that down. Hi again, Suzanne. Thanks for joining. This was really late. It was supposed to start at 12:30, but sometimes things just don't fall the way you want them to. At least it's going to be recorded so people can come back and see it if they were waiting and couldn't stay. All right, so we go ahead. Okay, so then I have that. And then I took, from the branching out dies, I cut out this little sprig of, I think it's like a holly, supposed to be like a holly sprig or something. And then I took, and actually I did forget that die set. So, or I mean stamp set. So I had the Pussy Willows stamped and cut out to put on here. And obviously, let me check something quick. I must have, oh, I do have it. Okay. So I just took this little sprig of the Pussy Willow, and then I used my early espresso. If I can open it up here. And some white cardstock. Oops. All right. And I just stamped 2 of these. There we go. There's very little stamping on this, just a little bit of stamping. All right, I'll clean that later. Okay. Back in there. Okay. And then I took this little, let's see, where's my scissors? We're gonna cut these out quick because I don't think I have the dies with me. This set, they do have the dies for the Pussy Willows that you can, but we'll just quick cut these out because I don't think I brought the dies with me. This is what happens when you're just learning how to do classes online and you don't do it at your own house. There's always something you forget, but we'll make do. It'll all work out. Now, if you make this and you don't have this die set, you know, you can use a different sprig of greenery that you have, or and put it in place of the Pussy Willows. I just thought the Pussy Willows were cute and they kind of matched the set, so I kind of just thought, well, let's put a sprig of those in there. All right. Okay, so there's one. And then I have 2 of them in there, so I'll cut the other one out quick. I'll have to go back and watch myself on this later and laugh at myself. Oh, I'll get this down one of these times and it'll run much smoother, but when you first start doing things, sometimes they just don't turn out the way you're going to think they're gonna. Right. Just cutting these out. There we go. Okay. So then I just took these 2 little sprigs and I did take my Stella pen and colored in the Pussy Willows. I don't know where I got a mess going here. Okay. So then I just kind of colored in the Pussy Willow part. And it makes them a little brown, but that's okay. Because they're not perfectly white in the wildlife anyway. There we go. Let's color those in a little bit. And then I took a brown marker, or brownish colored marker, and just colored in the stems a little bit. Just so they, because we all know that the wood on, or the stems are not white. There we go. So just like that. All right, and then I did, okay, so I did pop up a little bit. And a little bit of these greenery, just give it a little more dimension. Okay. One there. I didn't do them all, just a few. All right, and one on this one. There you All right, and then I just took the Pussy Willow. So first I put the red piece down. All right. And I angled it a little bit. So you can place it where you want. I kind of put it in the center. And then I took the two Pussy Willows and glued them. Down. And just tipped them a little bit. Like that. All right, so there's those. And then I took a piece of ribbon and I just did an overhand knot. Oh, cut my ribbon out here. This is always the fun part, trying to get this little ribbon tied. Oh, I did pretty good. All right, so I just did a little overhand knot on that. And just took a little glue dot. And there we go. And put that right over the ends of the Pussy Willow branches. And then you can just take your scissors and then just do a little, hopefully cut this good. There we go. Just angle the ends. Yep. It must not be my ribbon scissors because they're not cutting right. All right. There we go. All right, so that's one square. And then this one. Okay. Put that down. Okay, so I got that all set. So this one we have to fussy cut because these little birds didn't have dies. So I just have a little fussy cutting the little birds. And there's only two. So I die cut the other ones when I sent out the sets that I did, but these little guys didn't have a die, so I had to fussy cut them. All right. Those. So hopefully everybody's having a good day. Mine's going okay, except for the little glitches here and there, but thank God for Kelly because she helped me out when we got her figured out. Because I definitely don't have this set up at home, and I probably wouldn't have figured this all out on my own anyway. All right, so I'll get these. So it's sunny out here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin today. It's cold, of course, and quite a bit of snow on the ground, but it's, at least the sun is out. It makes it a little easier to bear when it's cold. All right. So there's our little bird. Get my little pieces out of the way. And thank you for the compliments and telling me I'm doing a good job. It was a little nerve-wracking for the first time, making sure I got everything and I'm not missing anything, and I'm giving directions so everybody understands. And I see I got glue gun glue all over Christine's. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning before I leave here today. All right. So then on this little square, I used a couple of little sprigs, and these came from the Christmas greenery set. And what I had to do, because on this square, you know, the squares aren't real big, so I had to cut it, the bottom of these off. So I just took the scissors and just cut it off where I thought it would best work. So just like that, and then we'll do the other one. And cut it off here. All right, so we have that. So these two pieces we needed. We needed a red little sprig, and that was from Branching Out Dies. And we also had, now I'm gonna, balmy blue, no, this is not balmy blue. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember. Coastal Cabana, sorry. And then this one did have a white one, and I forgot to cut one out, so I don't have the white one. Let's see here, so we can fix that. Get out my little die cutter, and cut myself a little piece of white. Thought I had all these pieces. I had to steal from some because I was missing some from a class. Somehow I didn't cut enough out. And then, of course, I took them out of my little extra kits, and now I'm missing them. All right, so then we need the Branching Out dies is what I used. Let's see here. What's that one? There we go. All right, let's get that little sprig out. Okay. And my white piece of paper. Put that on there. There we go. I'll just cut ourselves one out quick. There we go. Okay. And then we have that little piece. A little pokey tool, or at least the end of it. There we go. All right. Sometimes it's called fly by the seat of your pants as you work. All right, there we go. We got that one all set. Okay, so here's our little square. So we needed this little sprig, Coastal Cabana sprig, and let's see, where's my other red one? Oh, there it is. And the red one. All right, so then I just took the two little pine sprigs, glued the bottoms down on the mat, and I kind of just tipped them out a little bit because it'll stick out on the sides of the bird. Put one there, and then we'll put, oh, sorry, I'm working off the screen here. There we go. And then the other one here. There we go. And then I just positioned the three little sprigs. Actually, what you could do is put the bird down first. I used dimensionals and just put him down. And I just put the dimensional on his body. Or actually, no, sorry. Take that back. I put the dimensional behind his wing, and I glued the bottom of the bird down. Okay. So we'll just position him at the bottom of those twigs. There we go. And then I just tuck these behind. So put a little glue on these. All right. The red one off to this side. Go. And then I took the white one and put it in the middle. I just thought this made a nice little winter one that you could leave out, not just for Christmas, but through the winter. Because it's more, I mean, it's birds. Birds are in the winter. So, there we go. And then our coastal cabana on the other side. All right. Put that one in there. There we go. So then there's that square, and that one's done. And then the next one, okay. And I love this paper, and it's got little birds, but we're gonna cover them little birds up, sorry. But I thought they were cute, but what I'm putting on here is probably gonna cover most of the birds up anyway. All right. So put this down. There's square. Okay. There we go. And then on this one I used, let's see here. I had 2 more of these little sprigs. I'm losing my pieces here, hang on. I'm getting buried under everything. Okay. So I had these 2 sprigs, just like the other one, and we're gonna cut them down again. I'll just cut a piece off of that one. And then this one, I think, let me see here. No, too long. So this one we'll cut off here. All right, and so then on this one, these sprigs are gonna go down. Oops, they're the opposite. Oh, I might have to cut this one off just a little bit more. It's a little too big. There we go. All right, and then I just glued these down from the middle. There, whoops, stuck to my finger. You know you're having fun crafting when your hands are all sticky. All right, and then the other piece up here. There we go. There we go. And then you can put some little dimensionals behind the bottom just to keep them popped up a little bit. I gotta keep remembering, I gotta be up further. I keep moving out of your view. Sorry about that. Okay, I can pop that end up. And the other one. Well, these dimensionals and me, there we go. And then we'll just put one here. There. Okay, so we have those 2 little sprigs on, and then I'm gonna take, cover my glue for a second here, and then I used a little red, where did they all go? I might have to cut some more. I know I cut more last night, but now they're disappearing on me. Okay. I know I had it here, I saw it. Now it just disappeared on me. Goodness, I'm having troubles today. Oh, guys. I know I had them. Now where are they hiding on me? Just have to cut some more. All right. Okay, so this was a branching out dies again. Those little sprigs of holly or whatever that's supposed to be. So we're gonna cut, and I know I need 2 more of them, so I'm gonna cut 2 right away. I don't know what's going on, but my pieces are hiding from me or disappearing. But that tends to happen with little pieces of die cuts sometimes. All right. Cut this one out. Okay. This one out. One more. There we go. Okay. Christine's chair slides away on me. I'm losing my balance. Oops, I need to poke that out. All right. There we go. So then we'll take this square, and I'll take this little sprig, and it's gonna be going down, just like the pine boughs. Glue on there. And then I put on about the center of the pine boughs. So it sticks down like that. Okay. And then we have the little pine cones, and these are cut out of the brown, I forget what it's called, the brown foil that with the fall that we had this year. So I just cut out 2 pine cones. You could cut them out of a different, just regular cardstock if you didn't have this, like a brown or a pebble brown, or not pebble brown, copper clay, or one of those colors for the pine cones. All right, so we will go ahead and, so I just kind of place them. Actually, this one I did pop up, so I just put a dimensional behind it. Okay. So I glued one down flat at an angle, and then I took this one and glued and popped this one up at an angle with the dimensional. There we go. And that's all there is to that square. That one was real simple. And then our next square is this one with the pussy willows. So go ahead and glue that down. Go. Oh, thank you, Melanie. I really like this sampler. I thought it turned out really pretty, and I love this set. The Winterly Treetop set was so pretty. You could still get the paper, I think. You just can't get the die set and anything anymore, but the paper, I think, is still online. All right, so then this square, we are going to take this little bird, and he has to be die cut, or he has to be cut out fussy cut. So we'll quick cut him out. Yeah, these samplers are fun. I kind of like making them. I'm gonna do a spring one and probably a summer and then a fall, so that if anybody does these, they can switch them out in their frames. And I did get my frames. It was a 9x9 shadow box frame from Michaels, and every once in a while they go on sale. Mine were buy one get one free, so it was like, they're originally like $24.99, so I only spent like $12.50 or so on each one. And then what's fun with these is you can take them out, store them in a folder, and then just take out a new one for the season that you're in. So sometime, or in January 13th, I'll have another sampler class with a spring theme to it. I just haven't designed it yet. Okay. Almost there. This one's a little more detailed to cut out than the other one was. That's lots of twigs and leaves to cut around. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Cut a little bit more out here. Okay. All right, so there is our little bird. And then we need this twig here. This was from the Christmas, or the Golden Greenery. And then this one I cut because it's way too big for what I was using it for. So I didn't use as much. So I just kind of cut off. Let's see here. How did I? Trying to remember what side I cut here. Let me. Yeah. Okay. So I cut it here. And then I just went up and cut along this leaf, this leaf. We're doing surgery on our twigs so they fit. Just cut along there. So then I just use that little piece, and you could save this for another project. Cut it out for something different. And then this one I just glued on the square to at an angle. There we go. Okay, and then I did pop them up a little bit. So I did take a small dimensional and put them behind. And these you're probably going to have to cut down because this is a very small leaf. So let's see, we'll just cut a little strip off here. Okay, and hide it behind one of the leaves. There we go. I think one will do. Okay, and so then once I had that done, I took another red's little berries, and I glued that down. And that was at an angle also, kind of in the center of that little sprig that I had. And then I popped up the bird on actually both sides. So I popped the bird completely up. So let me put dimensionals on him. All right. And then I just kind of placed him over the ends of that twig. Like that. And then there's that square. And then, let's see here. We're to the bigs. Well, actually, and I don't know how I ended up with off-white. This is supposed to be white. So we're just gonna cut a new white square here quick. So it's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. All right, and then on this square, I used, okay, so out of the Delicate Pines, I'm using this sprig here, so this stamp, and then out of the owl case, I'm going to use this one up here, and we're going to cover the very bottom of it because I didn't want the of the season on it. So get this off here. Okay, so what I did with the seine, put it on my block, and then I took my tape, keep putting things away that I shouldn't. All right, so then, I mean, it doesn't matter what tape you use. Usually I use my low tacky tape, but I don't know where I put it. So we're just gonna go ahead and use some washi tape. And I'm just gonna cover the very bottom of this. So I'm just covering of this season, but I want the top portion. So I have all that, and then oh my goodness. I don't know why I put stuff away that I need. Oh, okay. I lost my shaded spruce. All right. I just had it, and now it's misplaced. Oh, that's not. Sorry, girls. Oh, I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached sometimes. And let's see. So, okay. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to take the square. I'm gonna ink this up. Make sure I get it nice and inked. And then I'm gonna, once it's inked up, I'm taking this tape off of the bottom part, because we don't want, if you do it with the tape on, you're gonna have a big blotch at the bottom of your square. And then right in the middle of this, oh, I gotta get closer here. I keep getting out of camera on you. Sorry, guys. All right, let's try this again. So right in the middle of the square, I'm gonna put this and stamp. Well, there we go. And then we're gonna stamp some sprigs on the top and the bottom with this pine bough from the stamp set, Delicate Pines. All right, so then I'm gonna take this and up here, stamp, and then down on the bottom. There we go. I'm gonna really have to clean up her space. I'm making a mess. All right, so close this up. All right, and then this is gonna get glued in the center of this last square. There we go. Okay, so those are all the 2.5 squares. So now we're going to work on the 5 1/4 square by the 2.5, or rectangle actually. And we're going to take, this is from, oh, I forget what it's called, Country. It was a wood grain set is where I got this piece from. And it was 12 by 12. I think you can still get it, unless it's on the last chance list now, but, all right, so we're gonna glue that down. Okay. All right. And then this is gonna be the two birds on the twig. So that's gonna be these guys. So what I did is I did put ribbon behind them. And so I'm gonna flip this over and I put some tear and tape. Let's see here. So I'm gonna put tear and tape up here just below the two birds' heads across. And then I'm gonna take another piece and I put a piece down. Let's see here. I made too big. Maybe not. Yep, too long. So I'm gonna put a piece right here in the bottom by this bird's tail and where the twigs goes under the bird. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this second piece just for a double. Okay, so then I'm gonna take this one, the top one off, and I'm gonna put some ribbon. So I have this metallic lined cherry cobbler ribbon that I think is so pretty. But of course, I don't have it anymore. I'm glad I bought extra back when I did. I'm gonna cut a piece off and then we're going to do 2 loops and a tail. So we're gonna put this right behind this bird's head. Do a loop. There. Back up. Make sure it sticks. Okay. And come back up. And do your second loop. And then up for the tail. Once you have that down, we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the tear and tape sandwich, as Christine calls it. Just to hold that in place. So we have that one. Now we're going to do the bottom loop, so that's the top one. So now we're going to tear this tear and tape, or the cover on this tear and tape off. Right. And we're going to do the same thing on this back side. So we're going to take another piece of ribbon. Okay. And then starting underneath the bird's foot in front of his wing, attach it to that tear and tape, and then first loop. Come back down, second loop, and then your tail. Flip it over and sandwich it behind the tear and tape. There we go. And then we'll cut it up. I had a little bit too much ribbon there. So we're just going to cut that at an angle. Go. Make sure this one looks good. Oops, cut a little weird. There we go. All right, so there we go. 2 loops and a tail on the top and on the bottom. Okay, so then we have that done. Our piece here. And then I cut from the winterly treetops 2 little sprigs. There we go. I just have these 2 little sprigs of pine. So we're going to take those and we're going to attach those. Oh, we got to put our bird on here first. So we're going to pop him up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. There. Okay, so I'm going to put some dimensionals on him. All right, so we're gonna put him down and a little bit over to the left because we're gonna put that sprig down at the end of the branches. So we're gonna put him down here. And then we're gonna take these two little pine sprigs and I'm gonna take little dimensionals and put one on each one on the back. So one there. And, oops, flip that over. One here. And then I'm gonna take, actually, you might wanna glue that end of that log down, just down there. Just so that lays flat. Because then we're gonna take these little sprigs and put a little glue here. Oop. Go. And then I'm gonna take these and put them here. Oops. And kind of stick down the end of the twig to the glue that I just put there. And another one here. There we go. So I have the two twigs, or the two sprigs of pine there. And then I had three little berries. And my third one disappeared. Oh my goodness, I should have kept these in a cup. But then I took the three little berries and just put them at the end here where I adhered those ends of the twig. Okay, one here. Here. And I don't know where my third one went, wouldn't you know? I should have known better with that because those are tiny. But there should be a third one right on here. And I'll just show you on this here. So there are three little berries there. All right. And that one is done. And then we have our last rectangle. Glue down our DSP to the mat. There we go. All right, so there we go. We have that. And then this one's going to be the little red bird with the berries in his mouth. And then we need some twigs. These are from the branching out dies. And I cut out 3 of them. And then I also cut out 6 of the little pine needles that go at the end of these. So these are the little pine needles that go at the end. There we go. So we have those. And then to get these to fit on here, I didn't want these little brown left, so I just cut them off so that there was just enough at the base to glue each pine twig on. I just didn't like all this brown sticking out underneath the green, so I just cut most of it off. And I'll show you what I did with them. Okay, so then you want to look at these because they do fit. I mean, there's 2 different pine boughs, so you want to make sure they fit on the right side. And I'll show you what I mean. If you look at these, let's see here. Make sure I got the right ones. Okay, so if you look at these, they are different. They're just a little different from each other. So if you look at the base of, I mean, you can leave the needles on if you want and match them up. I just didn't like the brown sticking out. So if you really look at the base, you can tell which one they go on. Like this one goes on this. And then this one goes on here. And they fit perfect with the little brown that's left over. So I'm going to put some glue on here. one here. Matching up that so the brown don't stick out. There we go. And then the other one, some glue on this one. Match that up with the base. There we go. Oh. Down just too much. There we go. Okay. So you got to do that with all three of these little sprigs. Them coming off. And okay, so this one goes here. Right. And then this one has a little bit left on here, so I cut that off. There we go. And this one on here. And then one more. Oh, and this one I still have part of it on there, so I'm going to cut that off. And then cut these off. Oops. Let's cut them down. There we go. Okay, and then we'll put some glue on there. And glue these on. Okay. There we go. Oops. Guess I didn't get that one on there all the way. There. Okay, so now we got those all on. Get all my little schnibbles left out of the way. Okay. And then on this piece, I took some ribbon, flip this over. Towards the bottom of the rectangle, I put a piece of ribbon across the bottom. So we're going to take a piece of tear and tape. This end. This end. Peel that protective stuff off. And let's see, cut myself a little bit of ribbon. And then I'm going to put this across the bottom. Let's see here. Just up a little bit and run it across. So then you have, this is actually this way. This is the bottom and the top. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and seal this with another piece of tear and tape. I guess I don't need such big pieces. I don't know why I keep tearing off too big of pieces. All right, so those are on there, good. Okay, so then we're gonna take our little bird. We're gonna pop him up. And I'm going to leave the bottom down. And I'm going to put him right about here. Oops, forgot to take the backing off of that one. All right. So he's adhered there. So now we're going to take those twigs. We have 3 of them. Okay. Someone's got a piece of... Okay, so now we're going to take these twigs and we're going to put them... Oops, I see a little bit of brown on this one. I don't like that. So I'm going to cut that off. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take these twigs and we're going to put them behind, tuck them behind the bird. So I'm going to get some glue. All right, so the first one we're going to put on the bottom, just a little under him. Okay, there's that one. And then this one we're going to take, and this one's going to get tucked right here. Now, watch out, he's got that down. Whoops. This side. Shouldn't let that popped up part right. Okay, so we're going to have one up there. And then, oops, that's going to be, oh, I think I put that one up. I need to move that one a little bit. It's sticking above the, oops, the rectangle too far. So I want it to go right about there. And put a little glue on this and just adhere it down here. There we go. So there's 2 twigs on this side, and then the third twig. All right, too much junk on my thing here. And then the third one is going to go on this side, just tucked a little under the ribbon, like that. And you can glue these down or you can pop them up, whichever you would like. I did glue all of mine down. I didn't pop any of them up. But if you like that, you can go ahead and pop them up. It doesn't matter either way. All right, so there is that. And then we had 2 of the Coastal Cabana little berry twigs. And one of them goes right behind this by his tail. And then the other one goes on the other side with this other twig. Right in here with this twig. There we go. All right. And that is the last rectangle piece that we need. So now we have to put them on the 9x9 crumb cake cardstock. So what I did, let me see if I can figure out where I put it. Oh, it's over here. And I see I accidentally tore it. Hang on, let me fix that. Glue on it. So what I did was made myself a template. That way you can get the squares right where they need to be so they're even and you don't have one up higher than another. So I made this little template and it's really easy to make. You just take some cardstock, heavy duty cardstock, piece of, what this is actually I used from the DSP, the 12x12 DSP. There's always that white, little bit heavier cardstock behind it. That's what I use to do this. So what you do is just cut it down to a 9x9, and then you take your, let's see, your trimmer, and you put that 9x9 in here, and you cut. So what you do is you put this at a 1/2 inch, and then you take your blade and add a 1/2 inch. So you're going to make sure you've got it on the 1/2 inch mark where you can see it. Get this in here better. Okay, so you're going to put it right here, and then you cut across and stop it at 8.5. And you do that all the way around, and it'll cut out a template like this. And then what you do is you take this template and you put it on your 9x9 crumb cake. And you want to make sure it's on there the same. All right. And you just got to be careful because it's going to move on you. You can try taping it down to, let's see, I can take some washi tape Get it nice and even. You gotta make sure you have it right. And then you could tape it down to the counter. You just wanna make sure you don't move that piece of crumb cake while you're doing it. That way it will hold it in place for you. And then what you're gonna do is take your squares, and I'll start with the rectangle on the bottom. And I'm gonna glue this down. And you can use this template to place your squares perfectly even. Oh shoot, and then dumb me went and put this down on the counter, and I didn't have it up far enough for you guys to see. So let's move all this. That. Oh, there's my other berry. I knew it was around. Okay, so let's do this again. Make sure it's even. Okay, that down. Okay. Oops, see, it's a little tricky. Sure, okay. All right, and then you're gonna take each one, and this one's gonna get placed all the way over here to the corner and butt it up against the edges of the white template. So there's one, and then the second one, we're gonna put, so we're gonna do both the top and the bottom, both sides. So blue. Okay. Place this one, put it up in that corner. Okay. And then we're gonna take this one. And I do take my tear and tape off on these because it's just going to stick it on the corners anyway. So, I know sometimes you can leave them on there, but it just helps it stick. Tear corner off. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to take this one, put it in the opposite corner, put it up against the edges. There we go. And then we need our little square with the pussy willows. All right, and then this one in this corner. Just be careful not to slide it under. You want it to butt up to this white piece, but not under it. All right, so then we have our good portion. We have it all evened out. It's going to be nice and square, and then we're going to place these others. And then these, you're just going to have to eye it up to make sure the same space between the top and the bottom of it. You'll have it butted up against here, so that'll be even. Okay. All right, so we'll put him over here. And then just eye it up, and that looks good. Do the same with this little bird. He's going to be buttered up on this side. Just eye it. That looks pretty good. And then the center one, you're just gonna center it the best you can. But this template really helps the placement all the way around so you get them even and not goofy on ya. And then this one in the center. And there we go. All right, and then you can just take that off. And there we go. No, down. And there's the whole template, or the whole template, the whole sampler, I'm sorry. But the template really does help keep you even all the way around. And I saw that somebody did it on mine, and I thought that was just the coolest idea. So it does help keep it nice and even and looks really nice that way. And then you can go ahead and put you know, little gems on your, this is the original one. I just put some little red gems on there. And now if you don't have those, you can use your diamond gems and color them with real red to make them red. Or you can just use your regular diamonds or whatever you want to bling it up. And then I did take some, my Stella pen and kind of Stella the bird's wings and just different parts on it just to bling it up a little bit. So that is my Winter in Flight sampler. I hope you liked it, and I will be doing one January 13th again in class, and then I'll do an online after. I'm not sure that date yet, but I'm going to do a spring one that can be switched out when winter ends. So if you have any questions, just let me know. It was a pleasure spending time with you today. Sorry this was so late I did my gift box class and that took longer than I estimated. So, and then a little bit of a computer issue, but we got that figured out. So I'm glad I could get this all taken care of and you guys could see the sampler and hopefully put one of your own together. So you guys have a good rest of your day and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and holidays, and hope to see you